Envy by Mary Lamb. This rose tree is not made to bear the violet blue nor lily fair, nor the sweet mignonette. And if this tree were discontent, or wished to change its natural bent, it all in vain would fret. And should it fret, you would suppose it ne'er had seen its own red rose, nor after gentle shower had ever smelled its rose's scent, or it could ne'er be discontent with its own pretty flower. Like such a blind and senseless tree as I've imagined this to be, all envious persons are. With care and culture all may find some pretty flower in their own mind, some talent that is rare. Okay, this poem was published by Mary Lamb in the early 1800s. And clearly the main idea of this poem is envy, yeah? And it's also talking about nature, and it's giving us metaphors for how people act and how flowers are. And I think the other theme as well is how often people are blind to their own qualities. People can't see the things that they are good at, yeah, and they're just envious of the quality of other people. So let's see. This rose tree is not made to bear the violet blue nor lily fair, nor the sweet mignonette. So notice to start with, she starts with this. So it's almost as if they've already been talking about this rose tree. This one here, yeah, is not made to give the same flower as the blue violet, yeah, nor the flower of the lily. Fair means beautiful, nor the beautiful fair flower of the lily, nor the flower or the smell or the sweet smell of mignonette. Mignonette's another plant as well. Okay, so a rose tree can't give the flowers that other flowers give. And this is effectively saying we need to be ourselves. We're not meant to be somebody who we are not. We're not meant to be the persons that society says we should be. We can only be ourselves. And if this tree were discontent, or wished to change its natural bent, it all in vain would fret. So, and then if this rose tree was unhappy about being a rose and wanted to produce violets or lilies, and wished to change its natural bent. Here bent means natural habit, natural way of doing things, natural way of being. Okay, so if the rose wanted to change its nature, it all in vain would fret. So to fret is to worry, to be upset. Yeah, so it would be upset because this would be in vain. It would be impossible for the rose to become one of these other flowers. Exactly in the same way as it's impossible for us to be a person that we're not. And should it fret, you would suppose it ne'er had seen its own red rose. Okay, so, and if it should fret, and if the rose started to worry about being a rose, being discontent with itself, you would imagine that it never had seen its own red rose. So you would imagine that it never looked at its own beautiful flower. Nor after gentle shower had ever smelled its rose's scent. Okay, so and if it's discontented, then it seems like it's never smelled the beautiful perfume that comes from a rose after a gentle rainstorm. Or because if it had seen the beauty of its flower or smelled its perfume, it could never be discontent with its own pretty flower. Yeah, so it would never be discontent with itself. So it seems like it's never seen its own beauty, and here is the same metaphor. It seems like we never are able to see quite how wonderful our own qualities are. Like such a blind and senseless tree as I've imagined this to be, all envious persons are. Okay, so here she's changing this metaphor into a simile, and she's saying that envious people are exactly the same as this rose that is can't see its own beauty and hasn't smelled its own smell. With care and culture, all may find some pretty flower in their own mind, some talent that is rare. So if we're careful and look carefully at ourselves, we will always find something beautiful, something extra special about us in our own mind, some rare talent that nobody else has. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about Mary Lamb before I finish. Her brother was Charles Lamb, and Mary Lamb had many problems with mental illness, and she even murdered her own mother, and spent had several episodes where she was in the mental hospitals of the time. So, here's a beautiful poem from her anyway, so maybe madness breeds beauty. Enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Envy by Mary Lamb.